Now on Nightside, a mom and 3 children hit by a car in Spokane Valley. The age of the driver and the condition of the kids. Our Rania Kaur is alive with a report from the scene.
I'm tracking some showers moving in from the south tonight. I'll let you know if that means a wet Wednesday in your first alert forecast.
And a new report shining a light into the dark world of suicide and how many young girls in Spokane have considered it. You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. We start tonight with breaking news. A teen driver hit 4 people in Spokane Valley. 3 of them were kids. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Aaron Luna.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. That crash happened on Highway 27 and East 24th Avenue. The area is still blocked at this hour, and that is where our Rania Kaur is live. She joins us with what we know so far.
Aaron, Kirsten, Washington State Patrol tells me 4 people were crossing the highway when they were hit by a car. 3 of them were kids. 2 of those kids, toddlers, just 2 and 3 years old, who were riding inside a stroller. They suffered major injuries. With them, another child just under 10 years old and a parent who Trooper Ryan Singer says suffered minor injuries. All of them were taken to a hospital. One of the toddlers via life flight.
3 children, one we believe under 10, hasn't been confirmed yet, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. 2 of them were in the stroller, and an adult parent was with them, and that got struck by a vehicle in the intersection there.
Trooper Singer says does confirm that the driver was a 17-year-old woman. She didn't have any injuries. This investigation is still ongoing. Now, Trooper Singer says it's not uncommon to see people running or even walking in this area. Right now, as the investigation continues, 16th through 28th is closed right now. As we learn more information, we'll bring it to you right here on KXLY and on our website at KXLY.com. Live in Spokane Valley, I'm Rania Kaur, 4 News Now.
Rania, thank you for that update. A man in Moses Lake was arrested after he showed up at his own SWAT call. Last night, Moses Lake police investigated a domestic assault where 56-year-old Wayne Christensen was accused of pistol whipping a family member. Officers went to Christensen's house to arrest him, and shortly after they arrived, Christensen rode up on his bike and asked the team what was going on. He was recognized and taken into custody. He's been booked on charges of second-degree assault.
High housing costs and discriminatory policies are leaving people stuck in some Spokane County neighborhoods with limited resources.
And it's impacting how long people live. The Shades of Motherhood Network helps mothers and children in the East Central neighborhood. The executive director, Stephanie Courtney, tells us limited access to grocery stores and health care is not new.
No access to just simple things when we think about food, when we think about fresh food, when we think about access to children's centers, a place where people can just come and congregate and be together.
The local organization Women Helping Women Fund says lower income and racially diverse neighborhoods like Riverside and East Central have life expectancies of nearly 72 years old. It's alarming to see that living a few miles south can make a difference in the average life expectancy of women. Less than a 10-minute drive and 5 miles away in the Rockwood neighborhood, the average life expectancy is 88 years old. And Courtney says solutions could include overcoming the stigma of the low-income neighborhoods and opening up more spaces for women to share resources together.
Pickleball players were out in full swing at Spokane Parks. 4 News Now talked to a group taking over the courts at Mission Park.
It's a great sport. It's communal. You just get a bunch of people out. You have fun. It's an equalizer sport. It equalizes a lot of different playing levels, and it's for the elderly and the plus seniors. It's just great exercise.
A lot of people taking advantage of our spring weather. But how long will this spring weather last?
Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker to find out what we can expect for the rest of the week. Chris?
Well, tonight we have a few light sprinkles moving into Spokane County right now. Do not be surprised if your car wash is ruined tomorrow, especially with all the pollen in the air. That could be quite a mess. Our forecast radar, though, shows it is not going to amount to much. Here's 1 a.m. with just one little area of very light rain, a sprinkle or 2 overnight, and then we're going to start the day off tomorrow with some sunshine. As we get into the afternoon, the possibility of mountain thunderstorms redevelops around the region. Temperatures for highs today were almost exactly average in the upper 60s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Seasonable conditions in the Columbia Basin as well as in North Idaho. right around the Spokane area. We did have a few spots making it into the 70s, 9 Mile, downtown Spokane Valley, and Liberty Lake. In your forecast for tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. We will see that afternoon convection bringing a few clouds to the region. We'll start the day off down in the 40s, heading to a high of 72. 69 is average, and we're going to get even warmer as we head toward the weekend, but our odds of thunderstorms is also going to increase. I'll explain in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Chris. The U.S. Surgeon General released a 25-page report laying out the risk that apps like Instagram and TikTok can have on your children. The report links social media to things like depression, anxiety, poor sleep, low self-esteem.
This is a real point of concern here. When nearly half of kids are telling us that social media use makes them feel worse.
The Surgeon General calling for more research into the impact of social media. He's also calling for policymakers and tech companies to take action.
This is pervasive. It is everywhere. And that's why it's so important that we support parents.
The White House says it's mobilizing an interagency task force to identify current and emerging risks. The task force will also develop guidelines for tracking and preventing those risks. The nationwide youth mental health crisis is being felt right here in the inland Northwest.
A new report from the Women Helping Women Fund found that 29% of teenage girls in Spokane County have seriously considered suicide. We asked why those rates have changed in the last couple of years, and a local mental health counselor says research shows use of social media plays a role in the way young girls think about themselves. And parents should be talking to their girls about suicide in general. Using social media more than 3 hours a day can create harmful effects.
Clearly impacting young girls and women because of some of the body image issues that might be associated with that, and social norms and expectations that are associated with that for young girls. Just really a lot of pressure coming from that.
Well, she also says parental controls are important. The biggest sign to look out for in your teen, if they may be struggling, is that they've demonstrated a change in behavior. And there's help for anyone struggling with suicidal thoughts. If you are in crisis, you can call the 24-hour regional crisis line at 1-877-266-1818, or you can dial 988.
And just to say it one more time, you can consider 988 the 911 for mental health care. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline was launched last July, but a recent survey found only about 13% of adults in the U.S. know about it. Of that 13%, 40% worried calling might lead to police action or being charged for services they can't afford. Still, the hotline answered thousands of calls more this year than last.
And time for a look at First Sports. I'm Julian Minnesone. The Seattle Seahawks team doctors have been pretty busy this week. Seattle's all-pro cornerback Tariq Woolen underwent knee surgery today and is expected to be out until training camp. According to ESPN, Woolen injured his knee walking onto the practice field last week. Woolen was a fifth-round pick in last year's NFL draft and led the league with 6 interceptions as a rookie. Woolen is expected to be ready for the start of training camp in July. And the Seahawks already have a backup plan in place until Woolen returns. We'll have that and talk about all that stuff later coming up in our full sports cast. Live in the studio, Julian Minnesone, 4 News Now Sports.
Thank you, Julian. In the University of Idaho student murders, the families of Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan have filed notice with the City of Moscow, Idaho State Police, Washington State University, and the University of Idaho, reserving their right to sue later on.
Safeguard to protect the interests of the families, the victims, and really the whole community and around, because if something goes wrong or was done improperly, then someone is held accountable for that.
The murder suspect, Brian Koberger, was arraigned yesterday. He elected not to enter a plea. The judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. A 6-week trial is scheduled for October 2nd.
Still ahead, what's causing child care rates to skyrocket and why people are waiting months, even years, to get their children into daycare.
A terrifying scene as a 1-year-old sinks to the bottom of a pool, his father just feet away. Why that's all too common and the safety measures parents can take. That's coming up next on Nightside.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by Inland Imaging.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on the next task. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXOY.com to nominate it. 4 News Now Extreme Team brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
hit the ground running in the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet. Like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport, or the Ridgeline, made more rugged with better off-road performance, and more capable with different driving modes available to conquer snow, mud, and sand. Adventure on in the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning partners with cities to gather the data they need to reduce homelessness. An interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world, that's the new thing. It isn't a tagline. It is Eastern Washington and you. Apply today at ewu.edu.
Pop the champagne, humanity. We've done it.
Celebrate your night with big winners, shocking thrills, and living legends.
No, I've always thought of you as Dave Jr.
Every hair on my body is standing up right now.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
Unleash your spring adventure with the rig from Northwest Motorsport. Conquer the road by scoring a great rate on a lifted truck, diesel truck, or adventure-ready SUV. Check out our unbeatable selection of trucks and SUVs at nwmsrocks.com and find the keys to your next adventure. Our straightforward purchase process and transparent pricing ensure you're in control. So why wait? Power up your spring journey with trucks, and more trucks from Northwest Motorsport.
4 News Now is brought to you by STCU Best of Broadway, BroadwaySpokane.com.
Thanks for staying up with Nightside. A dramatic pool rescue was caught on camera. Watch as a 1-year-old Cole Pettit walks into a pool, next to a pool. His 4-year-old sister is already swimming and dad is off camera watching another child when the toddler jumps in and starts dropping.
Immediately, his father jumped into action. He yanked the child out of the water, and firefighter, engineer, paramedic Zachary rescuing his son, who is going to be okay.
We just went over there, swooped him up, and got him out of the pool.
Seconds earlier, Cole can be seen slipping off his puddle jumper at their California home. Some experts warn those and other floaty-like devices could lead to a false sense of security.
So oftentimes kids don't understand what that device is doing for them, and once that device was off, didn't think twice about jumping back into the water.
Well, while this dad and his lightning-fast reflexes were nearby, most pool drownings happen when parents are distracted or when kids gain unsupervised access. Experts urge extra precautions like a fence around all 4 sides of a pool, alarms on doors and gates, and when kids are in or near a pool, having someone scan the pool for any signs of distress. Swim lessons are also recommended as early as age 1, and being trained in CPR is key. Families across the country are dealing with a child care crisis. Child care has become unaffordable and inaccessible.
Right now in Spokane County, there are simply not enough spots and centers for kids to go. Wait lists are years long, and many say the price tag is way too high. This is leaving mothers to make the hard choice to put their careers aside to stay home. According to data found in a report by the Women Helping Women Fund, in Spokane County, if you have 1 toddler and 1 infant, the average price for childcare is just over $2,000 a month, which in many cases is more than rent or a mortgage. It's a problem not only in Spokane County, but across the country. Experts say it all boils down to a lack of staffing in the industry because low wages are no longer able to draw people to the profession.
The bottom line is our childcare educators rank in the 3rd percentile of all occupational wages. They rank below pet groomers and parking lot attendants. So we literally pay people in this state more money to care for our pets and cars than for our young children.
We reached out to Spokane area moms to hear what they are seeing firsthand. Out of dozens of stories we heard, they trace back to the same problems. Childcare prices are unrealistic for the average family to pay. And even if they could, the spots are not there. Some even getting on wait lists before they're even pregnant.
Possibility of a few sprinkles overnight tonight, 46 for a low. Tomorrow, look for a mix of sun and clouds and a high temperature of 72. Keeping the showers in the mountains tomorrow. Here's what's going on. We have an area of low pressure over the region, and there's not going to be a lot of change in this overall weather pattern for the next few days. We're getting some Pacific moisture wrapping around this low, and that is resulting in mainly showers in the mountains mountain areas of northeast Washington and North Idaho. Here's 1 o'clock tomorrow. As we get into the afternoon and evening, that's where we see the most likely chance of that afternoon convection. Here's 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Still a few spots where we're seeing that wet weather, and we will do it all again on Thursday. But each day, those showers and thunderstorms will become a little more prevalent. By the time we're into Saturday, a 40% chance of showers in Spokane. And these numbers are for Spokane once you're up into the mountains, if you're heading to the lake or heading into the mountains for the holiday weekend, you have a much better chance that you're going to run into a little bit of wet weather. Starting the day off tomorrow in the 40s, 50s in a couple of spots. Highs tomorrow will be just a bit above average in the 70s. Again, our average high in the upper 60s, so very, very close. But we go all the way to 80 on Friday. That's one of the days we have a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms. 78 Saturday will stay with above average temperatures through Memorial Day, which looks to be the driest day of the holiday weekend. 80 degrees on Tuesday. I'll be back in just a few minutes checking in with our U.S. territory Guam getting hit by a major typhoon right now.
Chris, thank you. You may have seen military aircraft you don't normally see circling the sky yesterday and today. Fairchild Air Force Base tells us they're here as part of a joined planned training exercise. It's called Northern Edge 23, and it's concentrated in the Pacific Northwest region. Aircraft included a Navy-operated surveillance aircraft, Royal Air Force stealth jets, and a refueling aircraft known as a Stratotanker. They all could be seen in the air over Spokane.
New on Nightside, you've probably used Amazon for some orders. It's pretty quick and convenient.
Once or twice. But for one woman in Washington, D.C., her experience with Amazon has been the opposite of convenient. Eric Flack reports.
Well, that's the game. Everybody asks me how many Amazon boxes today, and they don't mean my shopping.
Like so many of us, Liz Geltman shops on Amazon, but she never imagined a delivery like this one.
On my doorstep, it was 2 rows almost up to the covering the door. You look like these big towering blocks of, children's blocks of Legos all the way up to the covering the door of my house.
14 Amazon boxes sitting outside her Northwest D.C. home. And here's the thing, Geltman didn't order a single one of them.
Addressed to somebody named Meng Zhang Quan.
She doesn't know a Meng Zhang Quan.
And so we called up and said, these aren't our packages.
But instead of coming to get the boxes, Amazon told her to just keep them. What was inside, you ask? Children's bedding.
It hurts my soul to just throw things out.
At first, she tried giving the kids' sheets away.
And then they kept coming, and coming, and coming.
Geltman says it's been happening since last fall. 80 Amazon boxes and counting, all addressed to Meng Zhang Quan, all with children's bedding. And get this, Geltman can't get Amazon to quit sending them. She even tried stopping the delivery drivers right in their tracks.
And they won't take it back on their trucks either. It's like they just leave it. This is yours.
So she's been schlepping back and forth to the Amazon Return Center at the Whole Foods in Tenleytown every time another stack shows up at her door.
Well, it's very frustrating on multiple levels.
Geltman says she called Amazon over and over again, and they didn't help at all. The return labels are from Amazon distribution centers all around the country. And get this part, Geltman says when she asked Amazon to just take her address out of the sender's account, Amazon said no. Why? Well, Geltman says it was to protect the privacy concerns of whoever was sending all these boxes. So we went to our contacts at Amazon, and after multiple calls and emails, the company told WUSA 9 it would reach out to Geltman to apologize. And maybe more important, Amazon agreed to start picking up the mysterious packages from her home while it works with the seller to stop the deliveries altogether. Geltman says she's received 9 more Amazon boxes.
Well, coming up, watch as this mother moose tries to get her calf across a busy highway and a bystander tries to help.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
If you have a fear of missing out, you might want to start earning with a free Camas Rewards card because Dude. Camel's rewards at Northern Quest for all the ways you play.
This is how legends are. 2024 Chevy Silverado HD with Duramax diesel. And the Chevy Silverado with powerful TurboMax engine. No matter what route you take, there's a Chevy truck to get you there. Find new roads. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 LT TurboMax pickups. Plus, get a $2,500 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
At Good Morning Northwest, we have one goal.
It's to get you the information you need to plan your day.
Breaking news this morning, and breaking news you need to keep your family safe.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest.
Animals are part of our families and sometimes help us to earn our livelihoods. Include them when preparing for emergencies. Make sure to have the supplies ready for them to evacuate if necessary. If you need help evacuating your animals during an emergency, call 911. Spokane County's Livestock Emergency Evacuation Team is ready to help. Request help sooner rather than later to give the volunteer team a better chance to safely evacuate your animals. Remember, call 911 for assistance with evacuating animals.
Satay Bistro, Coeur d'Alene's culinary extravaganza of American fusion dining. From our extensive wine cellar to our unforgettably decadent menu, we'll move your experience beyond ordinary to the extraordinary. Satay Bistro, just off the 4th Street exit in Coeur d'Alene.
Did you know Northern Quest Traeger A Day giveaway gives you a shot at a new Traeger grill every day in May? It also gives you a reason to use Precision Meat Probe in a sentence.
Don't miss your chance to win a new Traeger grill every day in May, only at Northern Quest.
4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors.
Thanks for staying up with Nightside.
Jump, jump. Oh.
Not quite. A moose calf trying to follow its mom over a highway divider in British Columbia, Canada. The truck driver who you just heard, Rodney Pierre, got video of the scene and sounds like he was narrating a little bit. The mother moose kept jumping over the barrier. It looks like she's trying to show her baby how to do it, but no matter how many times she demonstrated, her baby just couldn't get it. A good Samaritan stopped to help, but Mama Moose didn't appreciate that.
You're gonna get attacked, you f***ing idiot.
I told you he was narrating.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, don't approach a baby with Mama right there. In the end, Mom and calf decided to take the exit ramp toward Walmart.
Mother does not appreciate that. Here are 4 things to know about your weather. Sprinkles overnight. Warmer day on Wednesday. Will be in the 70s with mountain thunderstorms in the 70s for the weekend. Let's head to the Pacific. U.S. territory of Guam, where it's 4 in the afternoon, and they are getting hit by a typhoon, the equivalent of a Category 4 hurricane with 140+ mile-per-hour winds right now in Guam. Catastrophic impacts happening now. Again, those Category 4 hurricane winds, dangerous storm surge. There's flash flooding in effect. This is Typhoon Mawar. There's a huge military presence for the U.S. there, including Anderson Air Force Base. I know many of our local airmen and women have been there at times. They have moved the planes and the military ships away from Guam, but there is going to be some major devastation tomorrow. Again, it's 4 in the afternoon on Wednesday in Guam right now. A much more tranquil scene in our pick of the night tonight. A bee, which is, as you can see, covered in pollen, doing his job there through the lens of Sherry Gwynn, a beautiful flower in her yard in Priest River. Pro bees here at 4 News Now. Aaron?
That's for sure. Thank you, Chris. Lawmakers and food safety advocates are pushing for changes to the food expiration date system as there are no federal standards for sell-by, use-by, or best-by dates. Advocates say more realistic date labeling would help cut down on the massive amount of food wasted every day.
Many of us look at the date labels on food products and we instantly get confused. More often than not, we throw it away because we fear we might get sick.
You're telling me that a recently purchased rice or a bag of pretzels is dangerous to consume on that shelf date? Or how about your salt and pepper? You got to throw out the salt and pepper because suddenly someone came up with a random date on that?
The FDA says you should not rely solely on date labels and should examine food even after the expiration date. A bipartisan effort is asking the FDA to standardize expiration date terminology across the country.
The Washington Health Department is investigating cases of salmonella likely linked to raw cookie dough from multiple Papa Murphy's Take and Bake pizza locations across the state. One case is from Spokane County. 4 of the 6 people who have gotten sick so far report eating the raw cookie dough products from the pizzeria chain, which you are supposed to cook before you eat. Papa Murphy's has stopped selling the raw cookie dough products for now.
The Seattle Mariners needed a late comeback to win tonight's game, which players stepped up in crunch time. That's next in sports.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Papa Murphy's.
When you think of an Oscar-winning actor, you don't think of me. You think of people like Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. But you don't think of this.
Congratulations on your Oscar.
Yeah!
Now, Friday night, a joyous and emotional celebration.
What was it like to hand that Oscar to your mom?
Asians in Hollywood have a lot to celebrate this year, for damn sure.
The new face of Hollywood.
I love that.
Friday night at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
You filming? Yep. Try rolling your wrist, dude.
You gotta focus on balance.
You should switch to sledding. I'm gonna block him. Good idea.
Don't forget stick work. Hustle's paying off.
Performance. It's what powers the 2023 family of Mazda CUVs. With standard I-Active all-wheel drive and an available turbo engine, helping you take performance further.
With effortless power and the reliability of I-Active all-wheel drive, Mazda CUVs are built for the Pacific Northwest. Take a test drive today at Foothills Mazda or shop now at SpokaneMazda.com.
This is Dan. Dan is digging a tunnel. Dan really wants to attend the MLB All-Star Week at T-Mobile Park, so Dan is digging. Too bad no one told Dan about the $5 Hit 5 ticket from Washington's lottery. Each purchase comes with a chance to win one of 14 MLB All-Star Week prize packages. But Dan doesn't know that, so Dan is digging. Good luck, Dan. You might want to hurry. Or go get a $5 Hit 5 ticket from Washington's lottery.
Whenever you do the right stuff, shoot, you get awarded, and that this is one of the awards and one of the blessings I get to reap.
Well, that was Seattle Seahawks cornerback Tariq Woolen after he was selected to play in the Pro Bowl last season. Spirits high, but Seattle's rising star has hit a little bit of a speed bump in his career. Woolen underwent knee surgery today and is expected to be out until training camp. According to ESPN, Woolen injured his knee walking onto the practice field last week. Woolen was a 5th-round pick in last year's NFL draft and led the league with 6 interceptions as a rookie. Woolen is expected to be ready for training camp in July. But with Woolen sidelined right now, the Seahawks re-signed veteran cornerback Artie Burns as a temporary replacement. Burns returns to the Seahawks on a 1-year deal. On top of leading the league in interceptions, Woolen was top 5 in the league in pass deflections. He was also tied for 23rd in tackles last season. Idaho football is number 7 in the Athlon Sports preseason top 25 poll. Last season, the Vandals made the playoffs for the first time since 1995, and they will be led by quarterback Giovanni McCoy, who won the Jerry Rice Award as the FCS Freshman of the Year. The Vandals open the season August 31st at Lamar. And Washington State men's basketball will be one of 4 teams competing in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament next season. The tournament will take place November 18th and 19th at Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. Northwestern, Rhode Island, and Mississippi State are the other teams participating in the event. The Spokane Indians baseball team was working a double shift today. The Indians played a doubleheader against the Vancouver Canadians. It was a makeup game from last month when the matchup was postponed due to weather. We start with the first game of the doubleheader. This one was already scheduled for today. Keegan James gets out of the jam with the strikeout for Spokane. So the Indians go to the final inning trailing by a run. Yanquiel Fernandez has a chance to tie the game, but he grounds out. Indians, they fall in game one. 5-4 is the final. Now, game two was the makeup game from the rained out game last month. It was supposed to be played in Vancouver, so the Canadians were technically the home team in this game, even though it was played at Avista Stadium in Spokane. We picked things up in the second inning. No score, but that's until Alex DeJesus gets a hold of that baseball. It's over the wall and out. Spokane falls behind 1-0. We go to the fifth now. Jordan Beck, he's been one of the top players this year for Spokane, and he delivers again with a huge hit to tie the game, but this day belonged to Vancouver. The Indians, they fall 6-4, so Vancouver takes both games in today's doubleheader. The Indians and Canadians are back at it at 6:35 tomorrow night at Avista Stadium. And the Seattle Mariners looking to win a second straight game against the Oakland A's, but it was the A's that jumped out on the Mariners early on. In the first inning, Ramon Laureano gives Oakland the lead with the base hit. And then still in the first inning, this time it's Carlos Perez at the plate for Oakland. And Perez will find one through the infield with another hit, and that puts Seattle in a 2-0 hole in the first inning. Now we go to the fifth inning. J.P. Crawford up for Seattle. And Crawford says, guys, don't worry, I got your back. Crawford hits one over the wall to tie the game at 2, and suddenly the Mariners have some life. Now, same inning, it'll be Ty France at the plate for Seattle. And France will go ahead and give this baseball a little French dressing. Seattle takes the lead and keeps it after the France home run. They go on to win this one 3-2. These teams will play again 6:40 tomorrow night. And that'll wrap us up for sports. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
Did you know that Banner Furnace and Fuel is a locally owned propane company? That's important because it means consistent pricing. No games, no gimmicks, and no hidden fees. You can relax knowing that a propane quote from Banner is what shows up on your bill. No hazmat fee and no delivery fee. That's why people really trust Banner. So go ahead, compare your winter heat bill, and then call Banner for your propane quote. Banner Furnace and Fuel, locally owned for over 90 years.
I'm Jan Baldwin, and I built this. And I built this. My father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather were all woodworkers. And they taught me the craftsman tradition that says anything worth doing is worth doing right. That's why we get all our building materials from Par. They've been part of our success for 3 generations.
Par, your total home building source since 1930. Go where the builders go.
What are you going to build?
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and do all the things that make summer, summer. Like getting ice cream, movie nights.
I'll keep it down.
Hiking with the besties, catching sunsets, or just plain catch. Go long.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan with roadside assistance. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more. Reserve yours at Toyota.com.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
Have a few sprinkles working their way up from the Palouse into southern Spokane County, so your car wash may be ruined tomorrow morning, but it is going to be a beautiful day. Get another one. It won't last very long either. 72 for a high. We'll start the day off in the 40s. We're back up around average.
Yeah, you mentioned all the pollen everywhere. Why even bother with a car wash for the next week or so?
Exactly.
A lot of people just have their top down. The convertible.
Oh.
Of course.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
It's nice out.